Well, ladies and gentlemen, old JSNP 4 is moving starting tomorrow and mainly this weekend, Saturday. Took the day off for tomorrow. So you could probably expect, besides tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a little light, if non existent, on videos. But, I'm still poking around looking at stuff, uh, seeing the news. But before I get into it, I gotta tell you something funny. Last night, we've had a bout of some cold days here in Florida. So my wife's been wearing her pants or sweatpants, those kind of things. And she mentions how she's like, when I shave my legs, it aggravates it when I wear things like that, because then the hair's growing back and it's scratching and it's just so aggravating on my legs. Unless you just constantly shaving and shaving and shaving, and it's wintertime, I don't feel like doing that. So my legs are gonna be a little hairier than normal. So you know how one of my last video or two that I did, I played the dueling banjo. Down, 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 down. We were just watching some TV before I decided to come in here and end the night with the video or two. And she had some of those sweatpants on again, and we were sitting together on the couch, and her leg was over me. So I, just kind of had my hand up by her feet and crept up her leg a little bit, and I felt some hair. I mean, let's not kid here. And as I felt it, I just kind of stopped and looked at her. She looked back at me, and all I did was I went, like some kind of backwoods country folk, hairy woman legs, just kind of a joke. But figured I'd tell you that 'cause I thought it was kind of funny, and I think you might too. So I'm watching the price of oil. We're destroying the world's economies because we in America, through the COMEX market, set the price of oil every single day. I've been saying this for a very long time. And if you're a country that relied on this, sorry about your luck. Now, when the Arab nations signed up for that system, they knew getting into it in the 70s, because we had a manufactured fake oil scare here in America, and we had to tell everybody here, we're going to go in the Middle East. We got to make friends with those guys. They got the oil. We would say, hell no, are you crazy? But we felt some pain at the gas pump, because when we got there was no gas, and there were gas lines for 2 hours long in some places to simulate an oil shortage. It was false. It was fraudulent. But it served a purpose of allowing the American dollar to become the world's reserve currency through becoming the petrodollar, meaning all oil had to be bought, sold, etc. with American dollars. And that was the deal we made with those people. And as Lindsey Williams said, we also told them, with the profit you're going to get, we're going to give you a little more. We're going to make sure you get a good amount of money for your oil. That way you can buy some very safe treasury bonds, U.S. treasury bills. And they did. So life was good for the Middle East for a while. They were essentially third world countries that got brought up to first world status relatively quickly, thanks to the oil revenue. So they love that agreement. We don't mind using that U.S. dollar. Hell, works great. But see, we control the price of that oil with the U.S. dollar too, right? Because that's what you got to use to buy and sell it. So how, Middle East, hey, how's that working out for you guys? Right? How's that actually working out for you guys now? Now you need $70 a barrel to survive. It's down in the $29, $30 range. That's why you don't let someone else set the price of something that you have. Since when could I buy this harmonica and I get this at the price that I'm going to pay for this? No. The person selling the harmonica tells me this is how much I want for it. I could say that's too much, or, man, that's cheap, I'll take it. Or, it's fair, I'll take it. But we can't have a middleman over here dictating between you and me the price of this harmonica or barrel of oil with their US dollar and their COMEX market, setting the price every single day with paper contracts in which no one's demanding delivery of oil. So it's just however many paper contracts they print, they create. That's how they set the price. I've been over this a million times. So we are destroying the world's economy. We are setting the world up for the new world order system. We know the paper dollar systems of the world are going to fail. The US dollar is absolutely going out the window in the trash. And you better have your precious metals. And isn't it interesting that for the last, I've been watching this week, precious metals, silver, 14 bucks. Up, jumps 43 cents. Whoa, hey, there's a hefty move. Next day, down 40 cents. Up, down 44 cents. Oh my gosh, it's down to 13.88. Oh my God. Up, next day, back to 40 something. Up, another day, back down. It's letting you know that people around the world are watching and ready to pounce on precious metals. And them getting a little antsy is pushing the prices up through that rotten paper system even. And the powers that be have to put them all in check. Nope, it's not ready to rise yet. Sorry. Try again. All right, how about the next day? Oh, yeah, nope, push it back down again. Just look at it this way. It's nothing more than a massive buying opportunity for you. You will never, when this all goes down, you are never in your entire life, and you might be very, very young by chance watching this video, and I'm here to tell you, in your entire life, you're not going to have another opportunity like this. Because the club knows at the end of the paper dollar systems, fiat currency, backed by nothing, lifespan of approximately 39 years, ours is pushing 44, 45, so we're ready. It's overdue. And they know that the next thing that replaces it is always precious metals. If you haven't seen the documentary, The Secret of Oz, go watch the freaking thing. You can find it for free, I'm sure, on YouTube. I think I've even looked and saw it right there, the full documentary. It's fantastic. It explains all of this. So don't let the low price of precious metals bother you. It is a buying opportunity of a lifetime. As I said the other day, I just bought a little amount of silver. And I know better. That's why I bought it. Even though I didn't need it, I met my like I've said, I met my quotes or quotas, if you will, that I've set for myself over the years, thinking I would never have this much time to do so. And sure enough, I've had enough time. And I think now, man, can you imagine if they dragged this on for a year or two? Actually, great. That would be fantastic, because now I can buy even more silver. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but nonetheless, oil prices are destroying the world's economies on purpose. And Russia, I just read recently, has decided to create its own type of oil price pricing mechanism. Once again, leaving out the US dollar and pricing it in rubles. Now, we have a couple things I'm going to read you. Alberta, Canada, freezes government salaries as Canada's oil patch enters second year of recession. And then we have an old friend of yours, you may know him, Ron Paul. Ron Paul warns, watch the petrodollar. The chaos that one day will ensue from our 35-year experiment with worldwide fiat unbacked money, paper money, will require a return to money of real value. We will know that day is approaching when oil-producing countries demand gold or its equivalent for their oil rather than dollars or euros. The sooner the better, Ron Paul. Ron Paul is calling for the end of the petrodollar system, according to Zero Hedge here. The system is one of the main reasons the US dollar is the world's premier reserve currency. Essentially, Ron Paul is saying that understanding the petrodollar system and the forces affecting it is the best way to predict when the US dollar will collapse. Paul and I discussed this extensively at one of the Casey Research Summits. He told me he stands by his assessment. This is critically important. When the dollar loses its coveted status as the world's reserve currency, the window of opportunity for Americans to protect their wealth from the U.S. government will definitely shut. At that point, the U.S. government will implement the same destructive measures other desperate governments have used throughout history: overt capital controls, wealth confiscation, people controls, price and wage controls, pension nationalizations, etc. The dollar's demise will wipe out the wealth of a lot of people, but it will also trigger political and social consequences likely to be far more damaging than the financial fallout. The two key takeaways are: 1. The U.S. dollar's status as the premier reserve currency is tied to the petrodollar system, and the sustainability of the petrodollar system relies on volatile geopolitics in the Middle East. And he says where I lived and worked for several years. This guy writing the story. From Bretton Woods to the petrodollar. The Bretton Woods International Monetary System, which the Allied powers created in 1944, turned the dollar into the world's premier reserve currency. After World War II, the U.S. had by far the largest gold reserves in the world, which was around 706 million ounces. These large reserves, in addition to winning the war, allowed the U.S. to reconstruct the global monetary system around the dollar. The Bretton Woods system tied virtually every country's currency to the U.S. dollar through a fixed exchange rate. It also tied the U.S. dollar to gold at a fixed exchange rate. Countries around the world stored dollars for international trade or to exchange with the U.S. government at the official rate for gold, $35 an ounce at the time. By the late 1960s, excessive spending on welfare and warfare, of course, can't leave the military-industrial complex out, combined with the Federal Reserve monetizing the deficits, drastically increased the number of dollars in circulation relative to the gold backing them. Naturally, this made other countries exchange more dollars for gold at an increasing rate. This drained the U.S. gold supply. It dropped from 706 million ounces at the end of World War II to around 286 million ounces in 1971, a figure supposedly held constant to this day. To stop the drain, President Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility for gold in 1971. This ended the Bretton Woods system. So from that day forward, 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2011, that's 40 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, we're 45 years into it, into the unbacked fiat currency. Remember, 39 years from history going very, very far back around the world shows on average unbacked currencies last around 39 years. Some died before, some died after, but roughly 39 years. So is it any surprise that we're 45 years as of 2016 into this nonsense unbacked dollar, and we have all these economic problems? We've taken $9 trillion in debt in 2008, and it's now it's pushing $19 trillion. We're adding $1 trillion per year to the deficit. Is it any surprise? No. The club is going to deal with it. And what they come up with, whether you like it or not, world currency, local currency, New World Order, standard drawing rights, currency from the IMF, whatever it is, will be backed by precious metals. That's how the cycle goes. So if they're holding down a stranglehold on the prices of precious metals, you should be backing up with your truck and loading it. As they say, load the boat even. So, I don't need to finish. This is quite a little longer of an article, but the point is made. The point is made. The petrodollar is dying. The US dollar, it is the petrodollar, is dying. And you need to get your precious metals, get your house in order. Because while you can look out the window and everything looks great today, the amount of things you can't see behind the scenes that are being affected by these low oil prices. Can you imagine how many financial institutions or hedge funds or whatever have something invested into that industry somewhere? Can you imagine the losses they're experiencing right now? Just on the oil. Like I said the other day, 1,600 points wiped off the Dow Jones in a mere 12 or 13 days. Way to start 2016 off. I said it before, it is go time. The club has decided it's go time, and they're going to ride this horse until it dies. And they're pushing the horse to die, and they will structurally crash the economies of the world. That's why even the, what was I looking at? Give me 1 second. Canadian dollar, USD. 70 cents. 1 Canadian dollar equals 70 cents. It used to be 1 to 1, even in 2012. Looks like 2013. And then from there on out, it just, Wow. It's like a third, right? Roughly. About a third loss. What is price of gold in Canadian dollars? 24-hour gold watch, 24hourgold.com. That's US dollars. That's not, we want gold in Canadian dollars. Where are we? Well, it's 1,089. Add 30%, basically, right? Roughly. That's a sizable price jump in another country's currency, and that's just Canada. What about the other countries I've been doing videos on here recently talking about the same thing? We're over here, oh man, silver and gold ain't moving. They keep slamming it down. It goes up, they push it back down. I bet you if you were a Canadian in 2012 and 13 and whatever, and you've been stacking your gold and silver then, you'd be pretty happy with the price. And the party hasn't even started. The precious metals party hasn't even started. It's going to be an interesting year. Seems like every year for the last 3 years at least, like each year's kind of outdone the last one. Take care.